Hey everyone, Tiffany here. I am back with another video. This time it is a little flip through of my scrap therapy album. If you've seen my scrap therapy videos, you would know that I think I have a video on it. And if you see my posts on Instagram, you would know that I've been doing sort of like a Seuss Fish scrap therapy album for this year. So it's not really chronologically documenting my year, but it's in a 6x8 format, and it's basically whatever I want to put in to my album. It started as a pocket page album, and then it just gradually grew into something else. I've been doing it in my Felicity Jane binder, but as I would switch months, I would put everything into this album. So this album is actually almost to capacity already, and this holds mostly January through May, and maybe I can stick some of June, but I haven't really been doing anything these past 2 months in my scrap therapy book, so May and June can probably fit in here, like all of it. So yeah, I've had requests of you all wanting to see what was in here and how it came about, and so I moved everything into here, so nothing is in my Felicity Jane planner. I have two now since I bought a new one, but nothing's in those except for empty pocket pages and planner pages and stuff like that, because I moved everything that I've completed into here. And right now this album, everything in here is finished, although I mentioned, I think in my blog post, I think I might have had the video to that blog post as well, but I'll leave the link down in the description box. As I mentioned in that, I kind of go back and forth working through it. So say in March I had a page and I didn't really finish it. In May I probably went back to finish it. So that's how I've been working in this. So this is just a 2D ring binder that I have everything housed in here, and I got this at Michael's. It was a steal. I found it in the clearance section and I got it for like $2 or something. It's a very old album and it was beat up, and I just had to clean it up a little bit. But here is the beginning. So this is when I was doing like a pocket page sort of album. I'm using an assortment of pocket pages and planner pages and regular pages and all sorts of things. What I like about the 2-ring this is that I can put in the simple stories pocket pages with these, but I could also put in planner pages because the middle hole all lines up. A lot of my pocket pages though have multiple holes because they've been in multiple binders. So this is my first intro page. This is when I started doing a pocket page album for this year, and so I just kind of merged everything together once I started doing the whole planner thing as well. But everything is still sort of in a scrap therapy sort of way, so nothing is linear. There's no besides being in broken down in months, nothing is chronological. All my pictures aren't in chronological format or anything like that. So this is just my intro page. Most of my colors are basically the same. I'm using sort of the similar feel. I recently, prior to starting this project, I was destashing all of my stuff and only kept the stuff that I loved. And so that is what I have. Everything that is in sort of my color scheme, which is pastels and all this other stuff, and the products that I love. So you'll see in here a lot of Felicity Jane, a lot of crepe paper. I love Cocoa Vanilla, so some, not yet though. These frames are Cocoa Vanilla and that flare. These wood pieces are actually from the Planner Society kits. But yeah, so this was me jotting down some goals, and I actually did a planner page where I had the same goals written down. So it's kind of twice in this album, but that's completely fine. I don't mind. For these beginning pages, I basically use photos from previous years, so a lot of them are 2017. This is actually really old. It's when I was working on Project Life in maybe 2015, but I loved that photo, so I just kind of printed it out again. I'm not afraid to reuse photographs that I've already documented in years past or weeks past or months past, so a lot of things get repeated in my multiple albums, and I'm fine with that. For me, it's all about sort of the process of putting things down on paper. And if I have multiple if I have memories, multiple photos documented the same memory, that's completely fine. So this is what I mean by starting it monthly. So January, I made these cards myself, and they're in my shop if you are interested in these. They're just they're just plain monthly cards. Like none of these dates are like, I don't think this is Monday or Sunday or whatever. Like it's not planned out like that. It's just how many days are in the month basically. And it's just basically just to mark off like when the month starts and when it ends and stuff like that. I know a lot of people use this in Project Life. They do something like this. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in so I can know, like, you know, sort of divvy up all of my pages, because I don't date anything like on anything, so that is there. But I'll leave a link to that if you're interested in those. And again, this is my one little word for this year, so I kind of documented it here. And not a lot of journaling. Some of it doesn't have journaling, especially in the beginning with my pocket pages, because for me, with pocket pages, I just love working in the little pages and the little pockets and just decorating everything and using my photos and stuff like that. So here's another one. This is when I was doing sort of 6x8 little layouts. This photo pops up multiple times. I love this photo. It's the teacups. It's a teacup ride in Disneyland Paris, and it's so beautiful. And I just took this photo and it just came out wonderful, and I love it. It's so bright and colorful and cheerful, and it just makes me happy. So yeah. This was a spread that I made for the Fairy Tale Club, and so most of this stuff is Fairy Tale Club, except maybe like some of these word stickers and like puffies and stuff like that, but all the papers and everything is from the Fairy Tale Club. And again, there's no journaling here really. This basically tells everything, but I used photos of myself. And then I kind of did this page and then left it, and then realized when it was in this book that I needed to do the back. So I just printed out more photos and just backed it with some paper. Really kept it really simple. Again, here's another one of those cards. This is like February. This is when I was transitioning from the pocket page to the sort of planner scrap therapy thing. And so I just kind of put books that I've read in February, because I'm documenting stuff in here and in a big 12x12 album, so it's kind of like, it's like a mishmash of things, and so I'm bouncing everywhere, so whatever I documented in 12x12 may not necessarily be documented here, and so that's why this, you know, I stopped kind of like really doing the chronological thing. The months and stuff are in there, but I'm just not taking it really seriously, because then I'll feel like, oh, I need to do something for that month, I need to catch up or whatever. So you see March is down here, and again, just adding photos. These are actual photos from the month, so. And then that's when I get into the scrap therapy sort of thing, sort of Seuss Fish kind of style. I'm using papers from memory planner pad from Heidi Swap, and then extra pages from her memory planner that I just had, and different pages and dividers and scrapbook paper and all sorts of things. And so this was March, and it's sort of the dashboard, and it's just a collage of pretty things and a quote, and usually that's how my dashboards sort of start. Again, this is where I jotted down my goals, and they're a little bit more in depth than like this one, but that's what I have here. This was actually in a different planner of mine, and I just kind of took it and changed up the photographs and just added it in here. And then here, if you saw, I think I did a video of my scrap therapy in my Felicity Jane, you would know that I was working through a class that I bought years ago that is a mixture between journaling and photography, and so I'm taking the photos and then I'm doing my journaling under it, but instead of just doing a notebook, I'm like scrapping my photos. And so this is some of that. This is another one of those sort of things. I used a lot of the Fairy Tale Club stuff for this one. This one was really old Dear Lizzie paper. I love this paper from Polka Dot Party, and some Cocoa Vanilla things, and these are from Felicity Jane. I typed up my journaling here. This is I think is the only thing that's dated probably, and it's just my dog turned 10, and so of course I just did a little thing there, and some journaling. This is a really long Neil Gaiman quote here. On the back I have another quote in this little cluster. This again was for that class, and we had to write out a little bullet point turning points in our lives, and so I wrote mine here, and I just kind of put like collaged a little thing on top of a glycine pocket so that it kind of tucks in here. So it's like a little hidden journaling, and I really love this, how this collage turned out. And I don't know if you've seen, I believe I did explain this in my other video of this Scrap Therapy album, but when I did this, it didn't have a title, and so I kind of like a few weeks later went back in and worked and just added this title with these stickers. And then this one's also dated. I don't know why I dated this one, but it's basically the ending of March. And it is another one of those responses to this class. And I actually kind of stopped. I only did the first lesson in it. I was going to do a lesson a month instead of a lesson a week, but for some reason in April I did not continue. So maybe I should pick that up again and just do that. But that's that. I used a lot of the Paige Evans Take Me Away collection because I love that collection. And so I kind of, I did this for a class that's coming up on big picture classes that I have. So I have a new class coming out. It's 4 pocket pages, and so that's what this was for. But I wanted to include it in this album because I did it this year. So I kind of, after I did this, I went back in and just added some more photos and some papers and stuff like that. I might add some stickers here, but I don't know. You know, this album is sort of like a work in progress. Sometimes I'll open it up and be like, ooh, I want something there, and so I'll just add it in. Like the other day, I did this. So yeah, so this is my friend and I. I've been doing videos of our adventures abroad, and he's been helping me out in some of them. And so I kind of put the ones that the screenshots of when we were talking about it, and then photos from our trips. And then here, this I did the other day because it was blank, and again, it's just photos of our trips, and had this beautiful card from Project Life. It is from the Inspire kit, and it was just kind of perfect because it said, you know, create your own adventure. And then I did some little journaling here. Then over here I have this little pocket page, one of those little small ones from Heidi Swap, and all I'm doing is adding a photo of the books that I've read this year. And really my goal is 10 books in 2018, but since there are 12 pockets, I just kind of put the 12 there, so maybe I'll read 2 extra books, but in that case I'm behind 2 books. But that is what this is, and I just kind of put it here. And then this is a blank vellum on top of this beautiful pink, I think this is Maggie Holmes paper, and it was acting like my divider in my planner, but I just kind of left it there because I kind of like it. And this is April. This is the April sort of not divided, but like dashboard sheet thing. And I had this tag here. I bought a bunch of Kat Kidston Peter Pan stuff, and I kept the tag, and I wanted to use the tag, and so I had this photo of London. And if you know, the photos that I use here, some of them are some that, you know, I took this year and stuff like that, and others are just kind of, I have like a little envelope of photos that are just kind of leftover photos from different projects, and so I'll just kind of pick one that speaks to me and just collage it here. Again, this whole Scrap Therapy book is, yes, it's about telling my story in sort of like a non-linear format, but it's just about the process, about just cutting things up and sticking them down and just having fun with it. So I just had this left over, and it was perfect, and so I just kind of did a fun little dashboard here, and I have a quote down here. I love this acetate piece from Crate Paper, and you know, just had fun with it. And I've been adding like little tabs on the side. I love that, with just collaged papers. This is a beautiful Felicity Jane paper that I actually used in a project, but then this piece I kept hoarding for like years. And this is when I started using like my Felicity Jane my Felicity Jane kit. This is April, of course. This is the April kit. These are some photographs that are new. I had so much fun with this. I loved the colors of the April kit, and it matched really well with some of the Disney photos that I had from my last Disney trip, and so I kind of put these in here. I had these sort of left over from a Disney project, and so of course they're just going to go in here. Had fun with this crepe paper here. Again, here's that photo. Even though these were taken at, well, actually this was Disneyland Paris, but this was Disney World. This was also just that same Disneyland Paris photo. but I loved it. I used a lot of the Maggie Holmes carousel, and it works so well with some of the Felicity Jane pieces. So, but this is like a loose sort of layout next to a pocket page. This I did for a National Scrapbooking Day thing, so even though this says April and this happened in May, it just ended up being here in this part of my album, and I used a lot of Felicity Jane pieces here. This is a little pocket. This was like free printable for National Scrapbooking Day. Here's another one of those Heidi Swap pockets, and I put this quote here, my Felicity Jane kit. I love these trims. I used a bunch of them. I fussy cut this from a Cocoa Vanilla Studio paper, some Planner Study paper, and I kind of used the 2 photographs that I took of myself. Here is using packaging. So I bought this pin. These are pictures of the pin, and I kind of kept all the packaging that came in the kit, and the pin actually says this, "Courage, dear heart." It's a quote from Narnia, and I happen to have a Paige Evans chipboard piece that said the same thing, and so I kind of did a whole page on that, and then I bought another pin from the same company and took another picture of my updated pins and used the packaging and did a little collage. There. This was just a divider. I had all of these little pieces from the Felicity Jane kit, and so I just wrote out this cliched sentiment and put the little raindrops. And it was a great way to use this paper because I didn't know how to use it because I wanted to use the back. It's just a divider. And then this is how my May dashboard ended up looking. Quote and a little cluster. I might go in and scrap some more stuff on here, I don't know. And had these little pieces from a Happy Mail. They're cutouts from the Dabney's Diary magazine. I did some texture paste with my with a Felicity Jane heart stencil. This is Felicity Jane. And so like this. Okay, this is a pocket page. It is not finished because I can easily put stuff in these pockets and maybe decorate this card, but that is how it is right now. And the back is June, and this one's all, you know, completed. But like, if I want to go back maybe today or tomorrow, whatever, and like add some things into these pockets, that's what I do. So I'll do like sort of the base of everything, and then if there's something that looks unfinished, I would go back and add journaling or add another embellishment or add another photo or whatever it is. So it's not an album that I'm keeping sort of in a linear chronological kind of way. It's just, you know, like this, I have this here, but every month if I finish a book, I'll put the picture in. So I'm always going back and always building upon what I've already done in this album. Like here, these are just blank pieces of paper. I want to go back in and put embellishments or like a sticker here so it mimics this square sticker on this side. You know, little things like that. So nothing is really set. That's how I built this page. This page is finished now. Before this was all blank, but you know, then I went back and added a few things, and like this wasn't here when I did this page. I weeks later went back and did this little collage with another quote that kind of matched this quote. So that's how I've been keeping this. So if like for example, May doesn't have a lot of stuff, like May, and then it jumps right into June, and that's because I kept going back and adding to previous pages in like my album and what I had so far. So that's sort of how I'm keeping this little project, this little book. Again, this is January through, you know, whatever May, June stuff I have, because I can probably fit a few more pages in here, but that's about it, because I think this album is fairly packed as it is, and so I don't know how much more I can fit in here. So I don't know if I want to try to search for another album like this, because this was just a clearance find, to be quite honest. Like, I might have mismatching albums for this project this year, but that I'm completely fine with that. I don't mind it at all, only because this project is kind of like haphazard, and it's sort of not, I wouldn't say all over the place, but it is, you know, it doesn't have to be all pretty and pristine, and like the albums don't have to be the same. I might just get a Snap album and put the rest of it in the Snap album, or maybe keep, since I have 2 Felicity Jane binders, maybe I'll just keep them in the Felicity Jane binders, and so it'll be 3 books for the year. I don't know. I know Seuss, she just takes the little binder rings and then binds them all up, and that's how she stores them. But for me, I know I don't, since I move around so much in my documenting, I don't have a lot of one thing for the year, and so having each month in a little binder clip seems a little silly to me, because I don't produce that much each month, because I work in different formats. So yeah, that is just a look into this scrap therapy project that I'm working on this year, and these are the pages that I have so far in this album. I really hope you enjoyed a look into what I've already have in my album, and if you like this sort of thing, leave me a comment down below if you have any questions about what I'm doing this year in sort of this scrap therapy sort of way. I can point you into some good, like, wonderful videos that Seuss explains what it is in her process, and I'm sort of using that with a mixture of how I work now this year and stuff like that. So yeah, just, leave me a comment if you have any questions. And yeah, thank you for watching. Like always, if you love this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos from me, subscribe to get that notification. And thanks again. I'll see you all next time. Bye.